Good evening. Welcome to another Sunday night Bible study at the Gathering State Line Ministry Center in South Beloit, Illinois. Last week we started on Christian maturity, and we're continuing on that this week. Now, if you remember, last week we ended with talking about what people were saying about Jesus. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, look, a glutton and a winebibber, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is justified by her children. That was Matthew 11:19 for those of you that are interested. So, when people talk bad about us, one, it shows that they aren't mature in Christ. And two, it's nothing that didn't happen to Jesus. So it's nothing to get upset about. And they told lies about Joseph. And it would have been easy for Joseph to become resentful, bitter, angry, negative. But instead, he kept his heart pure before God and man, which is what we need to strive to do. And see, the greatest danger in humiliation, in hate, in anger, is to become bitter, to become resentful. See, once that takes place in your heart, you can pretty much kiss goodbye to the full potential of God, full potential that God had in store for you, until you learn to get rid of it and to forgive. The problem is that in that place of bitterness, resentfulness, you get so wrapped up in the now, here and now, right, that you lose sight of your dream, of your vision, of your future plans. And what you have to do is you have to keep in focus the big picture, your vision. And you especially have to keep that big picture in focus during the rough times, during the unfair situations. You have to not allow that challenge of smaller things to keep you from the destiny God's got planned for you. And yes, you can affect that destiny, even though He knows what He wants you to do. Hard-heartedness and unfaithfulness can keep you from doing that. You need to walk in love, walk in forgiveness toward those people that have hurt you, that have backstabbed you, that have lied about you. And by walking in love and forgiveness toward those folks, that's how you build character. Remember, well, you weren't here. None of you were here, except you.
I was already a character.
That's how we build character.
Not only that, but it those people who have talked bad about you, and it keeps them perplexed as to why you're not mad at them.
No. But see, by doing it this way, instead of that situation destroying you, destroying your dream, it actually makes you a better person.
Mm-hmm. My mom used to always say you can kill a bird with honey more so than you can with poison.
I've never heard that one.
In other words.
But her mom was full of those I've never heard of.
Yeah, that's true.
With sweetness than meanness?
Right.
But
kill with kindness.
When you're negative, you're putting up, okay, we'll talk computer language here, you're putting up a firewall between you and God and not giving Him permission to get through it. That's like saying, God, you stand on the other side of that wall. I'm busy being bitter. I'm busy being resentful. I'm busy hating. And don't come out until I say it's okay.
What if you're hurt though, Jerry? Is it okay to grieve or?
It's okay to grieve. It's just not okay to be bitter,
No.
resentful, hateful.
Like if somebody hurts your
Negative.
feelings and you cry. Is it okay to cry?
Crying's okay, yeah. I mean, I get my feelings hurt a lot. Well, if I got negative and nasty every time I got my feelings hurt, you folks wouldn't even want to be around me. Believe me. She knows. But see, for God to use Joseph, and for God to use us, Joseph, as well as us, had to have a heart of a servant. Now, just a quick refresher since you weren't here last week. Joseph was the one that wore the multicolored coat.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yep.
And his brothers essentially kidnapped him, threw him in a pit to die, and when he didn't, they sold him.
Sold him to slavery.
Now, how many people do you know that could put up with that? I mean, he had every right to be bitter, to be resentful, to hate. Wouldn't you say?
That's in Exodus, right?
No, that's in
Genesis.
It is? Still
Yeah.
in Genesis? Okay.
Genesis is a long book.
Yeah.
but in Genesis 39, 1-4, it says, Now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian,